Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Board NBA YouTube channel, where we go live every weekday with PipsNBA to hear his best bets, but also go through some NBA discussion along the way. If you guys have been enjoying the content, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. We just hit 500 subscribers last week. Thank you so much for that. But also, we want to get on the road to 1,000, get up to the 4 digits at some point. So if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe and be sure to smash that like button. Also, want to remind you guys that this is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. Visit thehammer.bet in your browser for more sports betting content, especially as we get into the NFL playoffs. But over here, it's all about the basketball. It's all about the NBA. And Friday wasn't great for a second consecutive week. That being said, it still was we'll take it. It's slightly profitable on the week. It is a half unit of profit, but some tough beats for sure in that Friday betting day. I'm sure Pips will have plenty to say about it as I pull up the record so far on the season using the BetStamp app. If you go to the Find Better section on BetStamp, you can find Pick and Roll over here. And as I mentioned, great season so far, 57-40, a profitable week, but an 0-3 Friday, unfortunately. I had my eyes on that Raptors game where I saw both of those things unfold. But the other two, especially that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that loses by half a point. Pips, your overall thoughts on the Friday picks?
Yeah, second consecutive week we have a terrible Friday, and both times we had like unbelievable losses. So I think we needed just a bit of luck on our side, and this could be easily 3-0. Like it was that close on every bet. Like first one, Pascal Siakam and Jalen Brunson. Pascal Siakam had 18 points and Brunson had 22 points with 2 minutes left. So yeah, we needed only a
And
bucket.
Siakam, by the way, Siakam had 18 points, and I believe he shot 4 for 18 in that game.
Yeah, and he scored. He scored 56, and then in the next game he scores 18. Like, okay, they did some adjustment on his drives. They were collapsing like on him like he's Giannis, but he also had so many good spots to hit this.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Brunson against amazing defense. Like you guys did great on Jalen Brunson. Like you lost because
he had some tough shots, man.
He hit so many tough shots. I think he had like 5 toughest shots of the season, like step back threes and those drives, some floaters with end one, like crazy. And you guys did great job on Brunson. You lost because Julius Randle was unbelievable,
The
especially
first quarter, yeah.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. And yeah, that's about that bet. Second bet, Shea. I mean, Wizards were I think Wizards were favorites in this game. So it was like -1 spread for Wizards, and they get blown out by the underdogs. And obviously, nothing to do there. Like, I only took the Shea line, it's huge line, 30 and a half points. And I only took it because it was projected to be a close game. And yeah, he had 30 points with 3 minutes left. And I think if he ends up playing, he will finish the game with like 34, 35 points. As always, he's like possessed man in the last couple of minutes of the game. Like you just can't stop him. And yeah, that was like unfortunate. The starters gets pulled out with 3 minutes left, and unfortunate just. And they also started double teaming him in the fourth quarter, but yeah. And the last one, similar stuff. Hawks were favorites by 3.5 points favorite coming into this game, and they get completely annihilated by the Los Angeles Lakers without Anthony Davis. Like, who would have thought like that's even possible? And LeBron James had 25 points with 6:30 left, and he gets pulled out because of a blowout. And I mean, that's one that's hitting for sure. Like I'm like 100% sure if he gets the minutes, he's hitting this because he was just like, okay, I'm saving myself up, and then when he started being aggressive in the fourth and scoring, I was like, yeah, this is going to be easy. And then Hawks missed like 5 free throws in a row, and the game went like plus 18 for Lakers. And yeah, unfortunate. I think I will bet every of this bet again if I had a chance. So
That's the best thing when it comes to betting. You want to look back at your losses. Like, that was a good bet. I'd bet that again. It just kind of didn't go my way this time. I think like any person new to betting, that's the way to look at it. A bad bet doesn't necessarily mean it lost. A good bet, not all good bets win, not all bad bets lose, but it doesn't take away the fact that sometimes they are good or bad. One thing I'm going to introduce to this show for the rest of this season, 2023. Just a little bit of an interesting counter here. So we lose the Shea bet by the hook. I always talk about, you're going to win some by the hook, you're going to lose some by the hook. So let's start keeping track. Let's see. So far, 2023, we lose the Shea bet by the hook. We're going to introduce the hook counter. We lose it this time. Let's see. By the end of the season, I'm going to assume it's going to be about 50-50 at the end of the season. Maybe there won't be enough of a sample for that, but just a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of extra fun of the show. We're going to introduce that.
Yeah, I can go back and look at like every bet we made because I'm keeping the track. But yeah, I wouldn't be like completely mad if we win every bet today by the hook. Like
yeah. I think it'll be an interesting thing to track for the rest of the season. Though I thought I'd add a little bit of fun into the show. Nice. Team that's not having fun this season is the Phoenix Suns. Well, they were having fun. I was a little bit low on the Suns coming into the season as we move into. Sorry. This is a good question. What will that finish hook? So hook will be half a point, and it has to be a market, in my opinion. I guess we should come to terms with this. It should be a market, in my opinion, that is at least double-digit points. Like if it's let's say it's a 1.5 assists, a player going 2 assists, that's not a hook because the line is so small. I would say if it's double digits or higher, so 10.5 or higher, and you lose like on a 10, I would constitute that as losing by the hook. I mean, you could probably go higher. Pips, what would you say definition for that should be?
Yeah, points betting, so no assists and rebounds because that's lower lines. I would say like anything like lines above like 11.5 or
Okay.
higher. Yeah, so, because like if you have like 9.5 points, and that's just someone can make 3 threes and it's hook, but he was far away from scoring another 3 or something. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, so maybe we can take it in context. Every time we'll decide. This Shea going 30 on a 30.5 line is absolutely a point.
As clear as it gets.
As clear as it gets, absolutely. But yeah, like an assist line or rebound, like as you mentioned, maybe not quite as serious over there. But that was a good question. Anyways, let's move in now to the discussion. I already spoiled it, but the Phoenix Suns, they started 18-11. I remember when they were 18-11. They were our discussion topic. Like, wow, the Suns are really good this season. All the turmoil, the Ayton contract, the argument between the team, the owner situation, that whole mess. This team still has risen up and they're 18-11. But then Devin Booker got injured. Since Devin Booker got injured, they are 2-10. 2 wins in their last 12 games. They are down to 8th in the highly competitive Western Conference. I think highly competitive kind of isn't really a word you can use for the West anymore. It might be time to say the West just isn't very good. There are only 5 Western Conference teams that are above 500 as I speak here. And the Phoenix Suns, like I said, not one of them, now falling to 20-21 on the season. Obviously, Devin Booker being out is a significant part of this. However, Pips, I feel like this team still has enough to continue to win some of these games. Where do you think things are going wrong for them, other than, of course, the Booker injury?
I mean, that's the most obvious one. Like, they are a contender with Devin Booker and healthy Cam Johnson. And when these guys are out, they are barely a playoff team. So that's pretty easy. Like, you have no Jay Crowder, crucial part of their finals team.
Yeah.
You have no Cam Johnson, a young upcoming great player. You have unsatisfied DeAndre Ayton, who is actually playing great. I mean, defense is a bit down, but offensive production is still the same. You have Chris Paul, who is like going down like every season. Like, he played amazing in the finals run, but this season when he scores 15 points, everyone is like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
He's getting you had lines like 11.5 for Chris Paul, and he's playing over 30 minutes a game. So you get an old Chris Paul, no Devin Booker, no Cam Johnson, no Jake Ryder, and unhappy DeAndre Ayton, who won't try as hard on defense as he was last couple of seasons. So yeah, with everything said, who is left? Like you have Landry Shamet and Michael Bridges. Yeah, like this team is like when. But I love this part because I hope now people will recognize how Devin Booker great is. Like he's just amazing MVP caliber player for this
Very
team.
clear now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that's clear because the last couple of years the people were saying like, oh, he got help from Chris Paul and that's why he got to the finals. Of course, he got to the finals because of Chris Paul. But Devin Booker was the best player on the team. Like I don't know, some people confuse that saying like it's Chris Paul that like was the main guy, and I completely disagree with that. Like Devin Booker is like amazing, amazing.
I like this. You're not a fan of the Washington Wainwright pick and roll. I can't say I'm. I actually like Wainwright. He had a very brief stint in Toronto, which was kind of fun, but can't say I'm a fan of this. Further on the Suns, I don't. It's a troublesome situation for this season. You know, they had the best record last season before getting blown out by 5 million points in Game 7 against the Dallas Mavericks. The turmoil in the offseason, but I mean,
Yeah.
an important part of this team right now, they have stuff they can trade, but like Chris Paul isn't getting any younger. That's going to be a very difficult situation to deal with when he's starting to kind of fade off a bit. As he continues to do that, you're losing like the heartbeat of the way the team plays offense a little bit. Obviously, Booker is the main guy, but the way Chris Paul runs the offense, that's going to be very difficult to replace. Sure, they have picks available, but not a ton of assets beyond that are interesting. The Jay Crowder situation is difficult because he still hasn't played. Are they going to be able to move him by the deadline? And I mean, the Devin Booker injury, that's also the huge issue with this team that wants to be good this season. So do you think Phoenix are going to be one of the most active teams as we get to the trade deadline, which is just about a month away now, like moving Crowder and maybe other pieces?
No, I actually don't know what's gonna happen because I don't think they can get anything great for a guy that wants out. Like if they just went to trade him, there will be some offers, but everyone knows they are now desperate and they will lowball them, and I don't know what's gonna happen there. Obviously, they need to move Jay, but I don't think they are getting anything better in that trade. So not a great spot to be in. And we actually don't know Devin Booker is coming back like in a month or so, but we don't know how is he going to be at the same Devin Booker. Like when you have a
It's true.
mid-season injury with two over a month out, all players don't came back like in a great shape. Like we could see that from James Harden and so many guys. Like when they have some injury, like during the mid-season, coming back like a month before the playoffs, they are not in a great shape for playoffs.
This was a comment here by Matt, who actually lives in Phoenix. And apparently, the discourse in Phoenix is that nobody's confused because they know how good Devin Booker is. So I think
I,
I think your team is kind of flawed if that's the case, though. What were you going to say?
I want to say, like, of course, people that watch Phoenix knows, but complete media and the stuff I was seeing on the internet, like from the guys that watch like couple of games a season, I saw a lot of comments on Chris Paul being like that guy, but I just don't agree at all. Like, and obviously, some fan that actually watch every game will completely agree that Devin Booker is the best player on that team.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
yeah.
But what I'm saying, like a team, if you really want to be an NBA contender, you have to at least be able to tread water while your main guy is out. Like 2-10 is obviously horrendous. While I'm live, Woj report, Woj bomb, Kevin Durant is going to be out at least 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. So on the topic of superstars, the way the Brooklyn Nets are playing, it'll be interesting to see if the Brooklyn Nets lose their main guy, if they can still manage to continue to win. I know they have Kyrie Irving, and the Suns don't have anywhere near that beyond Devin Booker, but that'll be an interesting development to follow as it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, who I think they're now one game out of the top of the East. Yeah, one game back of the top of the Eastern Conference. What a turnaround in Brooklyn. But interesting on Kevin Durant. Just wanted to bring that up while we were live. Let's now move into the next segment. Of course, it is the official pick segment. Lots of the viewers today are looking to tail some of these picks, looking to have a good time with these ones. There's 3 official picks coming for you guys. The comment I pulled up: death, taxes, and Pips taking the books to cleaners. There are 3 absolutes in life. So let's hope we have some at the start of the week. Just thought it was funny. Let's bring in the first one, a same game parlay, as the Pelicans are taking on the Washington Wizards at the Wizards.
Yeah, this is one is a great spot because obviously both teams had some amazing performances round against another. The bigs, like the centers, are going over against both of these teams, and like I think we bet like 6 to 7 times bigs over against the Wizards, and this is a great spot. Obviously, without Zion, he'll get everything inside, working through a pick and roll handoffs with CJ McCollum, obviously. And I love both of these guys, but I'm taking the centers as we had great success the entire year. And on the other side, we have Porzingis. Without Bradley Beal, he scores 20 plus points almost every night. And this is actually a great matchup for him. Like, if you take a look at the players, like the players that can shoot from like outside of the restricted area or the paint, every player had a great success against the New Orleans Pelicans. Last game, Christian Wood had 28 points in only 24 minutes, and beat completely annihilated Pelicans inside because they were doing a single cover on him. And Jonas Valanciunas is pretty slow to track him. We had a decent game from Shingun. We have like DeAndre Ayton scoring on that will, like 30 points almost in both, like easily. So without Bill and with Porzingis being probably the first scoring option, split between him and Kyle Kuzma, and this team without Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, this should be a close game. And I just keep repeating myself, close game, and the game
You're praying.
needs to be very close. Like we had like 14 point spread for Boston Celtics against the Spurs, and it was a close game. And we had like 1 point spread like 3 times in a row that got blown out, like completely, yeah. And
That's
but
the variance of
yeah,
the NBA.
yeah, and but okay, as I said, love this spot for both of these guys. Great positive matchups, and yeah, love this.
Yeah, going with the 2 bigs. I mean, you've talked about, I think you spoke about this enough. Going with the big guys this one, Bradley Beal out. Like this one. Let's move into the second one. Another same game parlay as the Chicago Bulls take on the Bucks, a rematch of last season's first round of the playoffs. 2 Bucks featured over here.
So the my bet for this game is Giannis Antetokounmpo over 3.5 assists combined with Drew Holiday over 13.5 points, and this is actually a game against the
Oh,
Knicks.
sorry. It's the Knicks. My bad.
Yeah,
My
yeah, I
mistake.
was like confused. Playoffs and Knicks, like what's going on?
I see what I
Bro.
did. I see what I did.
Yeah, no
Anyways, I'm
problem.
changing it. Continue.
So I'm taking this one because this is purely like schematic play. Like I watched every time Giannis plays against the Knicks, and they just completely like, okay, we don't care whoever makes the shot outside the Giannis. Like we'll just don't allow any layups to Giannis, and if he kicks out 50 times a game to a wide open shooter, we're gonna live with this. That's
Mhm.
tips. And in the first game of the season, Giannis had 9 assists and 30 points. In the second game, he had 7 assists and 37 points. So a bit of like 7 and 9 assists, while he has an average of only 5 assists. That's way above average. And he had in the first game, like he had 20 and I think 15 potential assists in these 2 games. And for him to have only 4 assists is like easily if he gets that volume of assists. And the second part of this bet is Drew Holiday. Obviously, when they collapse on Giannis, the the only guy that's like second scoring option without Chris Middleton, and the only guy that's a reliable scorer is Drew Holiday. He had some problems coming down from the injury, so they set his line pretty low. It's at 16.5, 16 and a half, but it's juiced. So I decided to go with a lower line with Giannis assist because it's great correlation with these two. And I think Drew should play like 30 minutes now tonight because he was on a way to play 28 minutes 4 days ago. That was his second game back, and this is third. And usually, when guys back from the injury, third game, I think he'll get the 30 plus minutes, and love this spot for him. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks. This is going to be supposedly a close game. We talked about close games a lot. The point spread in this one is 1 point. Most, I mean, there's actually a bit of confusion. Some have the Bucks as slight favorites. Some have the Knicks as slight favorites. So let's hope for a close game. Thibodeau will happily lose the game as long as it's not Giannis doing it. So this is I like the way this is correlated as well. Sorry?
Some Nick Nurse stuff there.
Yeah. Whenever you talk about not letting a star win, the first thought obviously goes to Nick Nurse over there. He's definitely the king of doing that for the better or for the worse. Let's go now into an ascending team in the Eastern Conference, the Orlando Magic. They are playing the Sacramento Kings. This one is correct. And we have Paolo Banchero, the front runner for Rookie of the Year here on the points.
So I'm betting Paolo Banchero at 21.5 points, which is minus 150 on FanDuel. So this one is like pretty straightforward to me. Like Kings, as good as they are and as great record they have, their defense is like almost every game we have like 3 or 4 guys scoring 20 plus points. Like they are just terrible on defense. They don't have anyone. They have like they completely starting 5. They have 0 positive defenders, like 0. They have a great coaching. They do some. They make something out of it, but that's still like bottom 5 defensive teams with high pace, and they allow like 120 points a game, day in day out. And if you take a look at the last game of them against the Lakers, like LeBron had amazing game, and when you look like okay, LeBron scored 37 points, but we have Thomas Bryant scored 29 and Dennis Schroeder scored 26, 27, and we have Russell Westbrook scoring 23. So we had 4 guys scoring over this line, like for the Banchero, and it's the Lakers, man. Like the Lakers, like their offense is not good, like at all. And the game before that, we had John Collins 22, DeAndre Hunter 22, DeJounte Murray 21, Trae Young 21, Bogdan Bogdanovic said the 17 of the bench. Like everyone goes like crazy against them, especially like the wing guys that are driving to the rim, because Sacramento Kings defense, they allow like the third least 3-pointers, so they stay spread out. They allow the middle and they allow the drives. And Banchero can shoot outside, but on the drives, getting to the free throw line, and his mid-range, his game is pretty good for a rookie. And the last couple of games, he had a huge stinker game against the Washington Wizards, where he shot 7 from 24, like terrible game, and scored 21 points. The next 3 games, he was playing against above average to great defensive teams. They played Thunders, Grizzlies, and Golden State Warriors. And he scored 25, 25, and 30 points. 30 points against the Grizzlies is just like Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, and he still ended up scoring 30 points against the best defensive teams in the league. Since Jaren Jackson returned, Memphis are the best defensive teams in the league. He ended up scoring 30 points. That's probably the toughest matchup he had all season. And now gets one of the easiest in Sacramento Kings. And also a good note, his usage is way up in the 2023. Last 3 games, his usage is like 32% compared to the 24% throughout the year. So that's 8% increase in usage. And if he gets the same usage against this King defense, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 30 points tonight.
Yeah, you said it all with the Kings defense, the way Orlando are playing. I think Orlando are an interesting team this season because it just seems like they're done with They just don't seem like they care about the draft pick. I mean, the players are out there playing well, ascending. Paolo Banchero, a big reason for that. Easily the front runner to win Rookie of the Year. I love this spot against this Sacramento Kings team for all the reasons that you mentioned. Want to mention one thing. I was just talking to people in the chat, commenting over there. But when it comes to the same game parlays, we always have them on the show as 0.5 lines, so over 13.5. But for the sports books, sometimes they will be listed as 14 plus. So if you don't ever see the line that's given out here, 13.5 over 13.5 is the same as 14 plus. So if you're ever trying to tail the picks, whatever, make sure to check. Typically, also sports books like DraftKings, there'll be a top section for points over under, which are scattered lines, and then there'll be a bottom section which are in different increments. So sometimes you'll see, like, I think somebody's saying for Drew Holiday, there was 14.5 as the lowest line to hit for over in the point section. But if you go further down, you can find the 14 plus, which was the line over there. So important to consider those things. Let's now go into the recap of all the picks. First of all, in the Pelicans-Wizards game, Jonas Valanciunas, we have him over 13.5 points paired with Kristaps Porzingis over 19.5 points. So the Porzingis, I know for sure, would be at 20 plus for that one. Just keep that in mind. That is minus 110 at DraftKings. Second pick in the recap is in the Knicks, who are visiting the Bucks, not the Bulls, as I said earlier. It is Drew Holiday over 13.5 points paired with Giannis Antetokounmpo over 3.5 points. That is minus 120 at BetMGM. And then in the third pick, the most recent one we talked about, Paolo Banchero over 21.5 points against the Sacramento Kings. That is minus 115 at FanDuel. And that has been your show on the Board NBA YouTube channel. Guys, if you did enjoy, please make sure to smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed to our account to keep up to date with the 5 shows that we do a week over here. If you're listening in podcast form, please take a minute, rate and review 5 stars, and also follow us on Twitter. If you guys want more sports betting content, especially as the NFL gets into playoff season, visit thehammer.bet. Just simply type in thehammer.bet in your browser for more sports betting content from the Hammer Bet Network. Thanks again. Let's hope these picks win. We'll see you tomorrow for more from Pick and Roll.